let it out.
Now with you, I'm feeling weak. Don't wanna heat, don't wanna sleep. Don't know what I should do, 'cause I'm weak for you. Sometimes I wanna run to you, but I'm so far away. Hello? Kelly?
Don't keep it in, just let it out.
Restaurant on that good man.
Okay, if there's anything wrong with my face and the moles are not in place, put them on during the break. So, want to tell me, okay? Anyway, when it comes to word of mouth and social media, customers can either make or break your business. Joining us this morning to speak about the consumer's power is Managing Director of Professional Training and Occupational Services, Yannick Grant. A face that I'm very familiar with, but I haven't seen in a while.
Yes.
Good morning, and welcome to Weekend
Good morning.
Smile.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So, they say, right before we said it, the customer is always right. Is that true?
No, I actually
Thank you,
disagree
please.
with it.
No, I'm not agree with that.
So no, the customer isn't always right in terms of this phrase being a literal phrase, because there are times when the customer is wrong.
Right.
I mean, we are customers ourselves. I accept that sometimes I am wrong. I'm emotionally driven by the experience.
When
and
my
I may
phone
say
not
or
work
do
and all of my
something.
data
Yes.
suck off your vex.
So you may say something to another human being that is morally or ethically incorrect. However, the principle is why they say that the customer is always right. And so you're guided by the principle to say that there are times when the customer may be wrong, but it is not our responsibility as a business to prove the customer wrong. So it's really, there is a principle, but the phrase itself is not correct.
Okay, so professional training, occupational services. How do you fit into the customer?
All right, so we are fully about customer service and customer experience. We do market research, customer satisfaction surveys, customer service training with leadership teams, with the frontline facing teams, even with people in the organization who are not frontline facing, like accounts and IT. You would think that IT and accounts don't need customer service
Right.
training, but a lot of times they do, because you have internal customers, and how you serve each other internally has a direct correlation on how the customer is treated on the outside.
So pretty much your company is the one that we were talking about earlier, who would then go into the businesses, train the staff on how to deal with internal customers and external customers, and therefore we will have a rise in the level of our customer service.
Yes, yes.
How often do companies use you in Jamaica?
Yeah, how receptive
So
are
we do really well, but I found over the years that it's really organizations where the leaders understand the importance of customer experience, and they can see the dollar value of it. In other words, we have a customer retention value calculator that we normally present to the leaders to show them how much money you end up losing when a customer leaves your business.
Like me, Usama Naga back in the clothing store in an Afro because of the girl was very rude. I'm not going back. Never get my
Yes.
zero.
Yes.
do consumers understand the power they have?
I think a lot of them do. I mean, we live in the age of information. And so just by the use of your smartphone or your tablet or your computer, you do a lot of research. I was, in preparation for this interview, I was doing some research, and Deloitte has a study out. And in the study, it indicated that right now, 60% of consumers globally make their decisions not by what the organizations pushes to them in terms of the information, but what a friend or a family member says, a testimonial that they read on a social media page. And so the power is in the hands of the customer, and that's why organizations have to try so hard to ensure that when their customers leave, they leave feeling good, they leave feeling like they had a good experience, because if they don't, you're putting yourself out there to get negative feedback.
And also the market is so full and so congested with so many people supplying a lot of the same things that
Yes.
we have options. We don't have to come back to you.
Exactly.
So that's why you need to take care of your customer. Do you find that it is a smaller business or a larger business conglomerate that tends to use your services? Do you see where smaller businesses use you more or larger?
Over the years, I would say probably medium to large business tend to use our organization more, because the reality is the investment is not cheap. And if you really want the kind of results that you're looking for, when you think of businesses in Jamaica that give you great customer service, they've spent a lot of money trying to develop their team members. The reality of the situation is the greatest asset a company has is their people.
And these companies, these medium and large companies, they go global.
Yes, a lot of them go global, so they're not just serving Jamaicans, but not only that, a lot of Jamaicans are very exposed. So they're not just used to service here, they're used to being served outside of Jamaica, so they know what they should be getting when they return to Jamaica, and they don't get it.
Very, very, very true. I have. Who for what? No. If you were in the place, did you get to see any of the scenarios
They
earlier?
were hilarious, but they were so true.
There you go. If you were in those scenarios, what would you have advised the customer service agent to do?
So in the first
Being a professional
scenario,
at training customer service.
so both of them, I think courtesy is definitely something that we need. And generally speaking, I think courtesy is something that we lack in Jamaica. I'm not just talking about from a business perspective, but I'm just talking generally. Think about when you drive on the road, how discourteous people are.
Or when you go to,
They're so aggressive.
yeah, when you go to a canteen and you ask them, you have chicken? We don't have that. You have fish? We don't have that.
So why are they on the menu?
Because it's on the menu earlier.
So what you have now?
Water.
So courtesy is, but courtesy has to be something that's practiced internally. And a lot of organizations, we don't treat each other courteously in terms of how the leader would relate to the team member.
Amen.
And, if you're treated in an abrupt and aggressive way, then you're going to go out there and treat your customers that way as well. It's kind of like being a parent. If you don't teach your children how to be courteous and respectful, show respect, say good morning, say please, thank you, do you think they're going to be able to go to school and do those things?
Precisely.
Everything starts at home. Everything starts in the business. And so it's something that we have to practice. So I think a big part of those scenarios that you presented lacked courtesy.
Okay. You know about the customer exercising their power, and when a customer goes into a store and decides to say, all right, I'm standing my ground, who then fixes that problem? If the customer decides that I am accurate, I am not backing down, what do you do about a customer like that?
Well, I always recommend to organizations or even to general people, a lot of times we complain, but we complain to our family members and our friends. And I think what we lack is we need to start documenting our experiences. Okay. Not documenting it on social media, but writing a formal letter to the organization.
Do those work?
Yes, they do. They really do. I mean, people read the information. A lot of times they call you back and they'll get back in touch with you too. Because sometimes the owners don't know what's actually happening. So when you write the letter and let them know that I went in, I was supposed to get X and I didn't get X and I complained and I wasn't pleased with how the situation was handled. That's when the situation is escalated. But they wouldn't know if you're just verbally complaining to your husband or your friend.
Yeah, but nowadays, a lot of people complain on social media. I've seen it thousands and thousands of times. You get bad service, you go off on a rant and you talk this about the company. How do people get away from that to start writing letters? Because social media is so accessible.
I know. So I'm recommending that they write the letters to ensure that something positive comes out of it.
And how do we assure that the letter gets to where it's supposed to be?
Well, first you need to do your research. And I guess that's where social media and the internet comes in as well. And as I said to you before, the customers nowadays are pulling the information. They're accessing the information and doing their research. And so it's so important for you to, yes, going on social media is good, but you need to recognize that social media has advantages and it has disadvantages. Now, a lot of organizations may decide to delete a comment that a customer has made. We did a recent podcast with a social media expert, and he's recommended that that's actually not a good thing. Because now you have screenshots. So even though you deleted it, it's still out
screenshots
there.
and say, look how many did write this, and then delete it.
Exactly.
But see, tell me I post it again.
It can actually be worse for you. So, putting what happened to you in a negative way on social media is fine as a customer, but I think as customers, if we really want to see a change, we need to write to the persons who can make the change.
How will businesses find you?
So we are available. You can visit my website, www.yannickgrant.com. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram, Yannick Grant. And we are available anytime an organization may need to improve their customer experience. And
Which is all the time in this country, I think.
But we do have some organizations that are doing it well. And so we definitely want to promote those that are doing it well and spread the positive more than the negative.
Well, thank you so much, Yannick. Managing Director of Professional Training and Occupational Services, Yannick Grant. What's this wrong with
It's
you?
another stop for the health-conscious consumer after the break.
That mean food?
I hope it means food. No, I hope it means food. So Benja, it means food.
No food.
Jamaican girl there. Hey, back up your bum. Wind up your body for me. Back up your bum. Kick it and tuck it and drop it. Back up your bum. With me fingertip, in a dick of your bubble for your head, you make a trick. Me love it when you tick tock, when you bubble it. Nobody looks so sexy for your toe, them or your dip. Squeeze up your body, make you kiss me with your lip. And girl, your body hot up, you got up, girl, you think